Welcome to the weekend edition of the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed. I'm Michael Thompson, and hello, Sean Aylmer.
Hello, Michael.
Sean, on weekdays, it's all about the Fast 5, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. On the weekend, we still keep it to 5 minutes, but we're going to pick out the biggest story of the week, the most remarkable business story, a sleeper story, one that's flying under the radar a little bit, and then our favourite business story of the week. Let's jump straight into it with the biggest one, though.
Only one, Michael. Only one.
There is. It is all about economic growth this week. The Australian economy grew by just 0.3%. 0.3%, that's not much. In the September quarter, that's 0.8% annual growth in GDP. Now, excluding the pandemic, that is the weakest annual GDP figure since the early 1990s. You had kind of trade and residential construction adding slightly to growth. You had lower consumer spending detracting from it. Treasurer Jim Chalmers made the comment that the private sector needs to drive growth from here. It's basically, he's saying the business community needs to do its bit. Business has kind of hit back, saying that really the government needs to overhaul things like the tax system and changes to IR laws. You put it all together, the Reserve Bank meets next week. And they would have been surprised by the GDP figures. They were forecasting higher growth by the end of the year, but in the end, they're still focused on inflation. That's the priority for the RBA, getting that lower. So I think you can still say no rate cuts anytime soon, right, Sean?
I think that's right. I mean, the big fear about those numbers is that it's all about government spending. The government is propping up the economy. We need private sector to jump in. My most remarkable story, can I tell you what I think it is, Michael?
Yes, please.
Bitcoin hitting $100,000 a unit, truly remarkable. As the Reserve Bank puts it, cryptocurrencies have no legislated or intrinsic value. They are simply worth what people are willing to pay for them in the market. And people are obviously in the market willing to pay $100,000 for one Bitcoin. The surge came this week after President-elect Donald Trump nominated a crypto enthusiast, a guy called Paul Atkins, to be the next chair of the regulator in that country. Bitcoin in the last month is up 40%, so to Ethereum, Binance 22%, Solana 25%. Cardano, which is a blockchain platform and cryptocurrency created by the same guy who found Ethereum, it's up 227%. Dogecoin, a favourite of Elon Musk, up 177%. Incredible. Now, depending on who you ask, there are more than 10,000 cryptocurrencies around the world. Many of those are inactive. Still, thousands are active. The appreciation in cryptos is just crazy/remarkable, Michael.
Yeah, it is. A quick mention of another remarkable story in one of the economic powerhouses of Asia, and indeed the world, really. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol imposed martial law on the country overnight on Tuesday, did an unscheduled broadcast basically saying he needed to purge the country of anti-state forces. The people didn't stand for it. The opposition MPs got into parliament, voted against it. Martial law was withdrawn. The whole thing took about 5 or 6 hours, but it is an extraordinary amount of turmoil in a country that has become an economic powerhouse. As I mentioned, global giants like Samsung and LG and Kia and Hyundai are all based there. This thing has global ramifications, really, and we will be seeing this playing out for some time now. Sleeper story, Sean, what have you picked out for us?
I've got a good one. We're at the top of the market. The S&P ASX 200 hit a new record high this week. We know the story. Commonwealth Bank, Goodman Group, WiseTech Global, all doing really well. What's interesting is that a couple of owners of successful companies are selling down their stock. Do they know something we don't? The founder of Buy Now, Pay Later Group, Zip, a guy called Larry Diamond, he resigned, cashed in $100 million worth of shares. He'll set up his own business. He founded the business Zipco back in 2013. It got as high as $12 a share in the early COVID days, fell as low as 26 cents late last year, up 700% since then. He's out. Pro Medicus is a company with the founders running the business, Sam Hupert and Anthony Hall. They sold 2 million shares during the week, worth about $500 million. Spooked the market a bit. They had to come in and say, hey, it's all right. We're not going to sell down anymore. But the fact that they did, and Pro Medicus is a radiology company, the fact that they did really makes you wonder whether they know something we don't know. They've still got about $12 billion worth of stock. But when you see founders selling down, you wonder.
Yeah, not an investment podcast. Get professional advice before making decisions, but fascinating story, Sean. Hey, just quickly, favourite story of the week. You found a good one for us, and a really worthy story, this one.
Yeah, so the Future Generation is an investment house, $1 billion funds under management. It doesn't charge investors management fees or performance fees. That actually goes to charity. It's raised about $90 million over the last 10 years for charities. This year, they released a new fund, Future Generation Women. It'll be part of the Future Generation Group. All investing will be managed by women fund managers. The profits from it will go to organisations that advance economic equality and opportunity for women and their children in Australia. Just a great initiative by a couple of people, Jeff Wilson, Caroline Gurney, to actually put back into the community from the finance houses.
Yeah, well said. Just a very quick mention of a lighter story, my favourite story, Sean, out of the US. Big US retailers, Amazon, Walmart, Target, they've had a revelation, right? That customers don't actually care as much about price as they do about service. If they get goods to them faster, they're going to keep coming back. They'll be loyal, and then they will be more willing to spend more money, and that they have gone from kind of 2-day delivery to 1-day delivery to within the hour delivery. It is a trend. It is a revelation out of the US and is going to really start coming down under as well. I just enjoy that story, and because I do a lot of online shopping, it's relevant to me, Sean.
A very Michael story, that one.
Indeed it is. There we go. 5 minutes and pretty much everything you need to know in the world of business. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
We'll be back on Monday morning with the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Don't forget to hit follow and join us online on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook and X. I'm Michael Thompson, and this is the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed.